You know what, Anthony? I believe that people can introduce themselves far better than we can. As eloquent as you are, as illustrious as I am, we still can't tell somebody else's story better than they are. So we've got a clip for our next presenter. Let's play that clip and then we will bring him to the stage. Ready?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
It's coming. There
It's
it is.
coming. It's coming. It's not coming.
There's no audio. You want me to try it?
Yeah, you can try it.
Give me a split
Oh.
second. Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
There we go.
We got 3 things to get accomplished here. We gotta believe. We gotta prepare. We gotta attack. Today is not jokes. Today is not messing around. Today is my day for you. I prepared all year long for this. One opportunity with you guys. We're wired different, and we gotta know why.
You'd be surprised at how many people really identify with this idea of being wired different. It's a good thing to be wired different. It's a good thing to feel good about yourself. You know, I remember growing up, not fitting in. I remember getting picked on and bullied. I remember one time, I'll be honest with you, being held up against a wall as a 7th grader in a middle school by 2 big 8th graders and a guy hitting me in the face. I was helpless. You know, I remember having to go home and explain to my parents what had happened and have a reason for that. And I didn't have a reason. I think it's okay to be vulnerable. I think it's okay to say I might be bipolar. It's okay to say I might be depressed. It's okay. You know, I think we hide and we store these things up and we run from them and we try to put on different face and different masks. When in fact, a wired differently person says, here I am. This is who I am. This is the way I respond. And you know what? I didn't do that right, but I'm sorry for it, and I'm going to work on that. It's okay to screw up. It's okay to get back up. I think it's important that we acknowledge who we are, what we're going to do, what we're going to be, and what we were. You need to be willing, though, to lose who you are to become who you want to be. Why differently people do that? Why differently people take those big moves? Where it's okay to look silly, it's okay to be laughed at, it's okay to stretch ourselves to the point where we might be ostracized, you know?
My job is to inspire you. My job is to motivate you. My job is to love you. My job is not to care about anything but you right now. My job is to show you these things. My job is to make you feel like I'm crazy because I'm crazy about you. How do you get to that point? You gotta live your life like it's 4th and 1. 4th and 1. Because after today, you can't watch something like that and say, hey, I'm just like everybody else. Because you're not. You play at tribe. You play at football. You're going to have family. You're going to have life. You're going to have children. And you can't be quitters. We're not like that. That's the easy way. I hate it. I hate the fact that some of you might walk out here and say, I quit something. We don't quit. We watch things like this and we decide. We decide we're not going to waste the moment. We decide that we're going to be better than whoever the hell they are. We decide when we get up in the morning that our little daughters are going to be safe. And if we're ever called
Wow, 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 wow. If you are not energized now, I don't know. You better go check your blood pressure because we are about to bring to the stage a phenomenal speaker. You just heard him. You just saw him. He is clearly wired differently, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to know what that's all about, then you've got to get ready with your pen and your pad and take these notes because Todd Saylor is here to slay this audience this afternoon. He's been married for 34 years to his first love, Tracy. He's the founder of Wired Differently Systems and the Wired Differently Entrepreneurial Coaching Systems. He's going to help you learn how to wire yourself differently, to change your life, to change your perspective, to change everything that you ever thought about in your life. So Anthony, I'm just excited. I don't know about you, but I just got geeked up just watching that video. So I know to see the man, the myth, the legend in person is just going to blow me away. So are you ready for this?
I'm excited. Yeah, I feel like based on what we just saw and what I've seen of Todd, as I did a little bit of research, I think he'd have been gung-ho on my message yesterday. I don't think he's big on victim mentality. I think he's going to bring some heat right now, and he's going to have people step up and make sure that they are wired differently. As an American Football Hall of Fame player and collegiate level, I think this guy is going to bring some heat, motivational change agent, keynote speaker. I think we're ready. You ready? You ready to introduce him? Who wants to get him? Who wants to get him, T?
Let's go get him. Let's go get him together. Bring it to the stage. The Wired Differently Systems coaching entrepreneur, magnificent man himself. It is Todd
Saylor.
You guys are awful, man. I mean, who can live up to that hype? I mean, I'm going to tell you, man, Terrence and Anthony, you guys are killer. You're killer. And I've had a blast. And I got to tell you, that nice young lady just before us, I wrote down her name. She was awesome. Stacy. Great job, Stacy. And I can tell that you guys have been working with her. I mean, I think I felt like we were almost on America's Got Talent, and I'm giving her 10. You guys are like,
all right.
10.
So
10, right? 10.
That is high praise. Well, Todd, we are going to get off the stage and give you the mic so that you can go ahead and teach us how we too can be wired differently.
Well, hang on, guys. There's no real hurry here,
okay.
Man. Because you guys I'll tell you when to get off the stage, man.
Okay. All right. See,
hey,
he's wired differently.
Out, Anthony out, man, because you guys are fun. I mean, who wants you guys around? Anthony, listen, man. When someone says a roast, I mean, I thought for sure you were talking about doing a pot roast, right? Did I lose you, Anthony? Oh,
no, man. I'm here. Oh, no, I'm here. I thought you said get out of here. I didn't.
No, I'll tell you. I'm like, I'll tell you guys when I want to get ready. I've been sitting and watching, and I've been hearing about you guys a little bit. And I was just like, hey, I thought Anthony was going to.
I'll eat a pot roast any day, Todd. I'll take one down.
Trust me, I would eat his pot roast before he roasts me. So there you go.
But I mean, the roast that I was talking about, Todd, is like, for example, right now I would make sure that I had some tissue and I would make sure to get the shine off your head. That kind of roast.
Badoo-ching.
So you know, I have got
there it is.
Right here. Because I'm in Florida, and you can tell I was outside exercising a little bit.
Absolutely.
I will literally do that because I just didn't want to. You know, I didn't know if you were a cop with that mustache or not. What? What? I think I saw you in a couple of movies, weren't they? Oh.
Please don't ask him to put on the other hat.
So do you think it's more of a Tom Selleck, or do you think it's more of a
Burt
Reynolds? I thought it's more like a bad movie. I mean, I don't.
And there's the Wired Differently.
Well, man, he went first, Terrence. I'm not touching you because, Terrence, I got to tell you something, brother.
Tell me.
You have a sexy barber.
I do. And we're both in Florida. We might have the same one.
Gillette, we got ourselves.
Absolutely. You know, Gillette with the Duracell battery because we last longer.
Oh, dude. Anthony, you're not even in the club, bro.
Oh, no, I've had 2 hair transplants. Trust me. I could be in the club if I wanted to be.
Really? Let me see those. How'd they work out?
Not bad.
That's pretty good.
A scar back there.
That's pretty. You know what? I'm proud of you, man, to literally pull that hat off and, like, I think Wired Differently is really exactly what you guys represent. I mean, we are who we are, right?
Yes.
God
Absolutely.
created us like a certain way, and he only made one of us. And I think this whole BTBY movement really lines up with the Wired Differently idea. And I want to talk about that a little bit. And obviously I want to encourage people. I want to grow people. But today I got a little extra time, so I wanted to teach people. And I love having you guys on the screen because you're certainly encouraging. And Bren is spectacular. This lady is wired differently. Did you hear me? She is completely wired differently, man.
Absolutely.
She found me at a conference and hunted me down, put me on TV, and I'm in the grasp of Bren. And so I want everybody out there to know that if Bren has got you on her show or got you watching these speeches or on her Facebook or anything that touches Bren is victory and clearly wired differently. Matter of fact, I've hired Bren to help move our sales process to take this thing nationally. So I wanted to give you guys some good news, and everybody out there, within roughly 30 days, inside of 60 days of hiring Bren, I got a phone call, and I put my team together. And I'm going to tell the world right now, you guys are first. I got a phone call from Salem Media and iHeartRadio, and just yesterday, we literally signed a deal. Bren's a part of the team, and all of you people that are involved in the BTBY movement are going to be a part of this team as well. But we just signed a 10-week nationwide tour, Wired Differently America, and we're going to be hitting every MSA across the country from Phoenix to Columbus. And we're not only going to be teaching and preaching, but we're going to be teaching Wired Differently, being the best you, but we're going to be teaching people the gospel. Of God and country. And I think if that's one little term I'd like you guys to understand is not only are we going to talk about God, but we're going to talk about country, and we're going to talk about the things that we can do for ourselves. And so real quick, guys, I want to share that with you. And then I just wanted to teach a little bit. I think that my style is motivational, but it's really the way I teach. And I think if we can lay some things out for people in this arena that's listening to this amazing broadcast right now, I think we need to understand what is Wired Different. And so if you guys want, I'll take it from here and we'll just rep it right on out. Are we good, Anthony?
You are great. I'm good to go. So I'm gonna go hang out and watch.
Yep.
All right.
Got my pen, got my pad, ready to be wired differently. So take it away, Todd.
All right. God bless you guys. Thank you very much. Hey, everybody. My name is Todd Saylor, and I'm definitely wired differently. And I just wanted you to understand that, yes, I am the author of the book, The Brand and the Attitudinal Disorder, Wired Differently. Yes, I said attitudinal disorder, wired differently. I patented the term wired differently, and I'm going to tell you a little story when we get going here, kind of a funny wired differently story. But I seem to find myself in trouble with the judicial system at times because I'm in and out of court all the time, being in the business world and doing the things that I do. And so some of my habits may be that in my first book, I tell a story about being sued and getting on and working through the Wired Differently moment. So I got a little story to tell you before we kick this thing off. But I wanted to let you know, too, that we just not only almost just inside this year, we cemented the brand, right, and the logo, the trademark, and the national mark brand for Wired Differently. Now, Wired Differently not only is a book, but a movement. And I just like to give you the 4 M's. It's the mindset, it's the mission, it's the movement, and it's a ministry, right? And it all revolves around this basically one singular phrase called attitudinal disorder. Attitudinal disorder, attitudinal disorder, attitudinal disorder. We all have attitudinal disorder. It just so happens that high achievers like us on this video, on this broadcast right now, are just a little different, right? Oh, no, I know it. We're just a little different. We get up just a little different. We go to bed just a little different. We love just a little different. We cry just a little different. We fight just a little different. We lose just a little different, right? We're just wired differently. We just can't do things the way other people do it. And we're always striving for something more. And I want to give everybody permission. I want to give everybody permission right now. I want you to understand that it's okay to want more. It's okay to go too far even. And I think a lot of us are stuck in what's called a comfort zone, and I call that the land of quo. So I'm the author of the book, The Brand and the Attitudinal Disorder, Wired Different. And I want you to understand that we don't even use the word different. That's an adjective. From now on, all my friends out there, all my followers in this regard, as we take this thing across the country together, the BTBY people, I want you to understand that we use the word differently, right? So differently is an adverb and different is an adjective, right? And adjectives describe nouns and adverbs modify nouns and adjectives. They put action into work, access, and things that we do. So I want you to understand, we're differently, man. We wake up differently. We go to bed differently. We play hard differently. We do everything we do in our life differently. We don't make excuses differently. We don't want to be part of that crowd. We don't want to live in this, what we call the land of quo. It's okay not to be common. It's okay not to be average. It's okay. It's even better to want to win. But we have to win in these 5 categories when you're wired differently, right? We don't want to lose. And what I'm saying about that, it's not a football game. It's life. It's relationships. And I want you to understand and set yourself free, because if you're uncomfortable with your life where it's at, or you're uncomfortable with the relationship where it's at, if you're uncomfortable where you're sitting right now, you're probably on this trying to be the best you. And that's what I want you to focus on, because we're going to move to a term called a successionaire. And I know Bren understands this, and I want to share it with you. But I want you to understand the bandwidth of Wired Differently. I've wrote 2 books, and I'm on my 3rd book. And the first book is titled Wired Differently, Leveraging Your Favors on the 7 Fulcrum Principles. The second book I wrote is called Wired Differently, Drift Again. And that is Supremely Purposeful, 8 Traits of Supremely Purposeful People. And I'm on my 3rd book right now, Wired Differently, Your Will Be Done. I'm super excited about that book, Your Will Be Done. So the first book is What is Wired Differently? The second book is Why Wired Differently? And the 3rd book is How to Become Wired Differently. And so what I want you all to do is, if you're able to watch and write this down, write down my website, toddsaylor.com. toddsaylor.com. Very simple. And if you have a chance, Google me. I'm the #1 Todd Saylor Google in the world. All right. So it's kind of fun. See a lot of background stuff on me. And if you get a chance, YouTube me. And there's over 200 training videos on my Todd Saylor Wired Differently YouTube page. So I could use those subscriptions. But more importantly, if you go to toddsaylor.com, there is Get My Free Book. And I want to clear up something that I gave for Bren to do and to look at for us, is if you go to toddsaylor.com, click on Get My Free Book, and there'll be a shipping and handling charge of roughly $14. You'll get the free book, Drift Again. But in the comments section of the book, write BTBY in the comments. And we will send you not only Drift Again, but we'll also send you the paperback of Wired Differently, my first book. Okay. And I'm going to go one step further, and I'm going to send you the workbook of Drift Again. Okay. So it's a massive package, and I want you to follow us and get on board, because come October 17th, we're going to be sending out a new ClickFunnel that's going to literally, I believe, light this world up. Wired Differently America. It's going to have every product we have electronically, audio, and a 15-day challenge to change your life in Wired Differently America. So all that good stuff is coming up. So what is Wired Differently? Wired Differently, I get this question often. I wear my shirt where I go. And Wired Differently basically is this attitudinal disorder that we've all been given, born, or brought into from our environment. But I want to tell you a quick story about Wired Differently, right? And so I want to show you how I literally made $80,000 this week just because I'm wired differently. So I want to tell you this quick little story, and then I'm going to get you into the 5 WT touch points. So here we go. So I want to just coalesce you guys right now. And I'm trying to sell you on wired different a little bit because I want you to understand who you are, what you are, and not be afraid, right? To change who you are to become who you want to be. I mean, listen to me. Most of us are listening to amazing speakers today on and off in this broadcast, right? But it isn't going to matter unless you are willing to take what Stacy said and the other great speakers and just be willing to do what I've done and a lot of other very successful people. Be willing to change who you are to become who you want to be. What I said, we've got mindset, we've got mission, we've got movement, and we've got ministry. Our mindset has to grasp that first and foremost. I'm not going to have enough time to really teach on all of the depth of this. And this is why Your Will Be Done is coming out. You're going to really see the mindset behind it. But I want you to understand, if you can just write this one quote down for me, do this for me as a favor, just for me. I'm willing to change who I am to become who I want to be. I'm willing to change who I am to become who I want to be. You see, God created us genetically, right? And then we went through a certain phase and we became a part of the environment. And God allowed you to become who you want to be. He gave you free will for that. So anyways, I was in the courtroom again. I've been in the courtroom probably more mediators than I could probably understand. But so I was in the courtroom the other day, and here's how I'm going to show you how I made $80,000 yesterday. So anyways, I'm in this lawsuit that's like ran on for a year and a half. And it was a frivolous lawsuit of some laborer in one of my companies, a staffing company, that didn't like the owner of the company I was serving. And they went after him. But through the leasing process and the sole employer process, I am the sole employer. I defended the owner, and we went to court. The original lawsuit was for $1 million, right? $1 million. Can you imagine that? So we go back and forth for about a year, and pretty much game time is yesterday to speed this up. And after we put ourselves together in this mediation, right? We put all of our case together, and we got our attorneys, and we spent all the money getting the attorneys right. I had made it clear. I had made it damn clear to my attorneys and the insurance company that I was not going to settle this case. This was not going to happen to me. This was frivolous. This was nebulous. It was farcical. It was a scam. And so as this contest went on, started at 8 in the morning and wrapped up at 4 in the afternoon, I had my chance to open up the entire process with everybody in front of me. And I want you to follow this because it's kind of funny. And I want you to understand how we can actually become who we want to be through processes. But this is actually a funny story. And this is how I can make $80,000 for you anytime you get in a lawsuit situation with mitigation. All right, so here we go. So I'm back and forth with this attorneys, our attorneys and their attorneys, and we did it virtually so we would go back and forth in these rooms. They opened up their case. And they said, Mr. Saylor, before all these people, would you like to say something? And I was kind of in a hurry, and I threw a T-shirt on before the mediation, and I'm on the Zoom call, right? And I said, yeah, I only have one thing to say to this group. I don't have a problem with this employee trying to get her thing in this life, but this attorney is a criminal. This attorney has whipped this young lady up to believing something that she could get that she doesn't deserve, and he's a criminal. And I think that he should bleed out in a field just like a dressed deer, because I will never settle this case. And if you imagine with what I said to them, they looked at me with these big eyes, and the mediation attorney's name was Tony, said, well, that's all we need from Mr. Saylor. Let's go to mediation. And he clicked that button as quick as he could. He wanted me off that so far, so fast. We went back into our rooms, and my attorney said, Todd, what were you doing right then? And I said, listen, this guy started at $1 million, And I don't know what he's going to come back with out of the gate, but listen to me. It's a crime. Sure enough, they come back. We're coalescing. He says, Mr. Saylor, we came back, and the opening counsel went from $1 million to $90,000. And I looked at my team, and they were happy and everything. What is your counter? And I said, for due process, I would simply ask this. $1,000 is all I'll settle on this, because that's what the first 15 minutes of my time would cost. And they said, Mr. Saylor, thank you for that. And he clicked and he went over to the other side. They came all the way over to the other side. And as this thing progressed, they finally got down to $65,000. And we didn't move anything in 4 hours. So let me get to the point of this story, because I love this story about being wired differently. I love telling wired differently stories. So after the setup, after the situation of being willing to be maybe the craziest man on the planet to make a point, here's what they said. They came back to me at $60,000, and my attorneys looked at me, and I said, listen, Heather, I'm out. We're going to court. I'm not dealing with this anymore. I will never be put in this position again. You attorneys need to do your job. This guy needs to know that we're going to court. And as I started to kind of wind my way out to hit click, Heather played in, who is my partner, and she is my CFO, said, we can handle this, Todd. I said, no, we can't. We're going to court. Heather knew exactly what I was doing. I clicked off the video and I stayed on audio, and she tried to massage the crowd. And this mediator went all the way back to the other side. He says, I don't want to go to the other side. Not even 10 minutes later, he came back after that charade and said, we are now moving they've decided to move their offer from $60,000 down to $25,000. Now, that's a wired differently story to some regard. So anyways, we move our way down. And as the time of this is all over with the antics the way they were, we settled for a meager $15,000 and we moved on down the phone. But that's not the moral of this story. I want to energize you. I want you to understand that life is fun, even in the throes of mediation and the thought of losing maybe $1 million. But if you're willing, right, to change who you are, to become who you want to be, then things like this become an experience, not a miserable piece of moment. So after this was all done, the person I was protecting in the third party, the client, talked to the mediator. And the mediator talked to the client. And the client said to him, why weren't we on this after 8 hours? We sat in the chair for 8 hours. We didn't talk. We didn't have anything to do. And the mediator's name was Tony. He says, well, Tony, he says, well, Mr. Fred, I want to tell you this. For 8 hours, I put up with a guy by the name of Todd Saylor. He says, do you know Todd Saylor? And the third party guy said, yes, I know Todd Saylor very well. And the mediator, Tony, said, well, then if you know Todd Saylor, then maybe this will make sense to you. That guy, 99% of the time, I'll bet you he's on his game. But that 1%, I would never let him near the judicial system. And Ken looked at him and he said, well, I understand that about my friend Todd, and you're probably not the first one to ever say it. He says, Tony says to Mr. Fred, he says, listen, do you understand this guy is an animal? And Mr. Fred said, yeah, I do. He said, I don't think you really do. He said, I think you need to understand we were in the broils of mediation for 8 hours, and never once did he slip. Never once did he falter. He knew exactly what he was going to say and how he was going to play it. And I got to tell you, he showed up in a T-shirt. Can you believe this? This man showed up in a T-shirt. And you know what that T-shirt said? Wired differently. This guy showed up in the mediation with a shirt that said wired differently. What was I going to do with this guy? So listen, I went from $1 million down to $10,000 wearing a simple wired differently shirt. I set the stage, right? You can simply buy a wired differently t-shirt. Very simple. But the point of the matter is attitudinal disorder. Now, I'm not provoking or saying that you're supposed to be cray-cray. But I want you to understand that life is about living. Life is about putting yourself in a place to win. We're not here just to lose, right? We're not here to be the doormat of society. We're not here to just take what's given to us all the time. Wired differently people are expected to excel. And if you're sitting here and you're wondering how to do that, that's my job as a coach, to teach you how to be wired differently, to teach you how to feel differently. And this is kind of a cool thing in the coaching brand. When you hire me as a coach, we send you out this package. It's a super cool package. Just want to do a little bit of this. And when you open it up, you got a coaching. And inside the box is a kit of coaching, some cool stuff that's in the box, wired differently, mugs, and all kinds of the workbooks and everything that we're going to be working through to make you understand how to be willing to change who you are to become who you want to be. I've listened to a lot of people. I've read a lot of great books on mind and attitude, and from Napoleon Hill to obviously Dr. Daniel Amen. And my job is to gather these things and take my life experiences and to help move you through life, help you cross this bridge of becoming who you want to be by leaving who you are. Now, we're going to mix science and we're going to mix emotions and we're going to mix motivational stuff, but we're going to take your attitudinal disorder and we're going to lift you through life in that regard. Just like that attorney. You know, you would think an attorney wasn't going to be much for Stacy, but with Stacy in an attitudinal disorder, wired differently mindset, she is a different person, right? She is that person now. I want to help you with that. So here's the things Wired Differently is going to help you with. One, I'm going to tell you the 5 touch points of Wired Differently. And here's what's different about Wired Differently attitudinal disorder than other products out there or people out there and doing what they're doing. Wired Differently, I'm just going to cut to the chase, is a spiritual term. Wired Differently at the end of the day is this idea of understanding the gospel and how we can touch other people through knowing Christ as our Savior. And my vision is to have a sea of people wearing Wired Differently, understanding that to be intrinsically wired differently, you must know the Lord. And this is how we can move through these things first and foremost. But I want you to understand the Wired Differently movement, the Wired Differently mission, the Wired Differently mindset, right? And all the Wired Differently ministry all works under this term Wired Differently. And we're going to touch one, yourself. I got a lot of trouble with one of my coaches. I listened to most of the things he said, but one time I got up in front of an audience of 400 or 500 people, and he had told me not to do this, but I said, listen, everybody, I want you to understand, before we get going with this message, I want to talk about my favorite subject. And the room was quiet. And I said, me, my favorite subject. And the crowd went crazy and had a blast. And of course, my coach was hiding under the table. I don't know why, but then he crawled out when people kind of understood. Wired Differently is about loving yourself. I mean, God said to love yourself. We can't love others if we can't love ourselves. So we got to start right there. We got to start right there. Terrence would give me an amen if he was on here right now, I can tell you. I'm not sure about Anthony. He's working up some jokes to roast me afterwards. I'm a little nervous about him. But anyways, here's where we are. I want Wired Differently people to love themselves. And I teach and help and abet God and all the things that I can work with you in regarding. First and foremost, we need you to love yourself. The second touch point of Wired Differently is that we need to help you understand others, whether it's DISC personality traits, whether it's the Wired Differently certification, where it's all these understandable things. We have to learn how to communicate not only to others, but our feelings to others. Number 2 touch point. The number 3 touch point of the 5 touch points of Wired Differently, where we're moving all these things together, is relationships. We teach people to understand how we are different, we're wired differently, and who we are and how we're willing to become who we want to be by understanding we don't get there without other people. My dad taught me a long time ago that whenever you get emotional, son, look up, take a drink of water. And, you know, I'm a hyped guy, right? But I don't know what just happened there, right? So I think about relationships. I think about who's made me. And, of course, my wife. And that hit me. And, of course, all the great people in our organizations. You know, I have the privilege of being here and talking about an amazing brand that's, I'm telling you, is going to storm this world. But it doesn't happen without relationships. Matter of fact, the phone call I got due Salem Media came from a lady I met, Mary Brockett, 3 years ago when I told her no on a radio show that I wasn't ready. She followed me through social media. She followed me wherever she could. And she got a promotion, and she called me when this position came available. Relationships. I met my wife when I was 15 years old. Married her when I was 23. Relationships. My dad taught me things that I can only explain, I guess, over time. Relationships. I have partners in some of the 14 businesses I own, 15 including Wire Differently Systems. And every one of my partners never technically bought in. I've given them equity into the successes of our companies. And they've made them better than I ever could. Relationships. My first company I built, Payserve Systems, I started with roughly $35,000, and I borrowed that. I moved some customer bases around, moved some people around, worked hard. Now it's worth $20+ million. Relationships. Number 3, relationships. Number 4, Wire Differently is going to help you with your business model. You entrepreneurs out there, most of you are entrepreneurs. Most of you, man, you're messed up. You're misfits. You're like me. You didn't fit in. I'm sorry. You wondered if someone would love you. You wondered if you would ever find a partner someday. You went through maybe a traumatic growth period when you were younger. Maybe your parents were divorced like mine. Maybe your father and your mother had stories of certain things and you had to hear about it at school. Maybe you grew up in a single wide trailer, right? Maybe you didn't have running water. Maybe you didn't have a lot of things. Maybe you were picked on and bullied. You know, those are types of things that you have to overcome because you're a misfit. And when you think about that, I want you to understand, after you accept Christ into your heart, you're truly a misfit of this world, and we need to celebrate that. But Wired Differently people grew up misfits, more than likely. Insecure, battled bipolar, battle schizophrenia, battle some health condition, battle some insecurity of mindset, right? These are the things that are proficient in people that excel through the Wire Differently training and this Wire Differently mindset, and this Wire Differently movement, and this Wire Differently ministry. You're not alone. These first three things, self, others, relationships, but now we put that into a business model. We take your entrepreneurial mindset, your solopreneur, your entrepreneur, whatever you want to be and do. I want to help you do that transformation from who you are to become who you want to be, because you're taking it on. You're taking it on and you're putting it into a model that will sustain you. And the last touch point of Wired Differently. I hope you guys are digging this, because I don't know that I've been this raw in a while. Number 5 touch point is spirituality. Now, I don't put that last. I put it as first and most significant, because I see that spirituality touch point shrouding over all self, others, relationship, and business. And it's the glue that brings us all together. It's that peace of mind, right? When the risk we're taking, when that $1 million lawsuit comes in, that you can sit back, put on a shirt, and blow their mind away, because you're prepared, right? The 3 verbs I live by. The 3 verbs all Wired Differently people live by. Write these down. Give me some help on the screen here. Believe, prepare, attack. Now, this is where Anthony and I are probably getting along, because evidently he's an aggressive man, and he was telling me a little bit about his talk or what he was doing before. So give me some love on this, Anthony. We cannot be the victims, right? We need to push back. We need to love. We need to forgive. We need to do all those things. But we also have to win. We have to win. So I want to set you up with a little bit right now. I want to teach you about a word that I've patented, and it's in my 3rd book, Wired Differently, Your Will Be Done, and that's going to come out sometime in January. It's a brilliant book, but I want to give you a head start on it, because the word I want to talk to you about right now, because of this BTBY movement, this is you. I am talking specifically to you. This is a crowd that I've really only first and really introduced this term, right? And I'm going to challenge whoever's running this StreamYard spelling on here. We're going to see how good you are. But the word I want to talk to you about right now, I'm going to teach on right now, because I want you to understand, right? I want you to understand how important it is to see things in a Wired Differently way. So this is the word I patented. Are you ready? The word is successionaire. Let's see how good you are, and then I'll correct you on the screen. Successionaire, right? So while he's trying to do that, I'm going to just set you up. So what we went through in a successionaire process to literally win the trademark on Wired Differently, we had to take on Wired Inc. magazine, a behemoth in the editorial and social world and electronic media. And for 1.5 years, I fought them because they wanted to take the word Wired out of my brand. We ultimately stood up to them because I knew where we wanted to go. I knew we would be right. And we won that lawsuit. And so those are the 2 lawsuits that has really set up this shirt, Wired Differently. We own this name. We own this brand. We own the rights to market it. We own the rights to the books, the writings, and even the magazines. So here we are. What sets us apart as Wired Differently people? And I do want to, if I had time, I don't even know how much time I've got, but attitudinal disorder is something I hope I get some time to come back and teach on and talk about the 3 stages of being wired differently. But I want to actually help you out right now. And I want you to understand, if we're willing to change who we are to become who we want to be in this process of being coached, this process of living, this process of being success, I need you to become, watch this, a successionaire. I need you to become Successionaire. And when I thought about what I was going to teach on today, I really couldn't get this out of my mind. And I told Brent I was going to get to this. And it's not going to take long because I want you to really understand as I get ready to close out here, what is a successionaire? Why would I spend $3,000 to $5,000 to trademark a word by the name of successionaire? Why would I go through the hassle to spend $60,000 to $70,000 to win the trademark of wired differently? Why would I go through the hassle of spending the last 4 years to try to patent this entire process before I even knew if it would catch on? Because I believe, and now I'm prepared, and now I'm technically going out to attack, right, with Salem Media and the podcast and all of iHeartRadio. But I want to shroud this all with this mindset of what a successionaire is. So let me see this spelling here. Successiiare. Impressive. Impressive. Round of applause. So a successionaire is our word. You're now part of Wired Differently. You're part of a mission, a mindset, a movement, and a ministry. And the word that we own is successionaire. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. But I want you to understand, as I think about the people that are watching this, the BTBY, be the best you, right? And I don't think the best you is always becoming a millionaire. You know, I think it's overrated, to be honest with you. I don't think the happiest people in the world are necessarily millionaires. And I know a lot of people say things like, well, I could be happy with $1 million, right? I could try to be happy. I mean, well, I could try, I'd try it. Well, listen, a millionaire is a mindset, and it's basically a technical word for becoming successful. And I think we need to get rid of that nomenclature, and we need to come into the Wired Differently nomenclature and understand that we want you in this movement, this mindset, this mission, and this ministry to understand that the pinnacle of your success is to become a successionaire. And so here's simply the definition of a successionaire. Let's see how good my StreamYard friends are. The definition of a successionaire is this: create a plan, execute a plan. Create a plan, execute a plan. Think about that for a second. The only thing I want from you to get to the point of becoming who you want to be is to understand that you can't execute a plan if you don't have one. The most successful people in the world, let me tell you something, the most successful people in the world know one thing and one thing only that's never going to stop. The time, the end of days is never going to change. And they know this one thing. They know what they want. I've always known what I wanted. I mean, I'm special in that regard. And I'm telling you, but I didn't understand that was why I was becoming successful in the things I was becoming successful in. And the second thing successful people know is how to get it. Desire is the mother of all invention. Want. It's healthy. And if you know what you want, then you know how to get it, then you're going to get it. Successionaires know what they want, and they seek and find a way to get it. Now, I'm not going to get into all the mind travel training right now, but I want you to understand a successionaire simply is this person. A person that knows what they want. They create a plan to get it. And then they execute it. It's that easy, baby. It's just like peanut butter and jelly. It's just like, I mean, it's the simplest thing in the world if you think about it, but we all try to make things so damn complicated that we can't even get anything straight. Most people don't even know what they want in this world. Why is that? Let me help you do that. Find someone to help you do that. Just that one step. If that's all you get from my message is, what do I want? Then I will call this a victory, man. A successionaire knows what they want. They create a plan and they execute it. Now I'm going to close with this because I want you to understand really quickly. A successionaire is a person who knows what they want, creates a plan and executes it. Creates a plan and executes it. Creates a plan and executes it. Creates a plan, executes back and forth. And they do this time and time again. They got the formula. They know how to create a plan. They know how to execute it. And they aspire to be a successionaire because they've cracked the formula of how to create a plan and execute it. Elon Musk, most wealthiest man in the world, created a plan to go to Mars. A stay-at-home parent created a plan to cook a pot roast like my man Anthony was talking about. Those two plans are equal. Those two execution of those plans are equal. God knows no sin greater than any sin. Plans are plans. Execution is execution. Sin is sin. Sin is sin. My point of the matter is the stay-at-home parent who created the plan for the pot roast and executed the plan and fed the family is just as successful as Elon damn Musk. Elon is a succession heir. That parent is a succession heir. Now, when we stack success of plans, execution on top and top and top, we aspire to be the succession heir. Some people don't aspire to be millionaires, and I think that's just fine. I want you to understand that the level of your success is only the height of your execution and the fact that it's completed. Let me teach you how to do that. Find someone to teach you how to do that. Find someone to give you that certainty and understand that God has made you spectacularly, unimaginably, Ephesians 3:20, able to do things abundantly than all we could ever think or be or do or think or do, right? He's done all that. He's given us that makeup, that genetic, to actually even be successful in this world without him. Crazy. We'll talk about that some other time. But you're special. You're clearly wired differently. And I want to move you from who you are to who you want to be. I want to do it through self, others, relationships, business, and spirit. I want you to understand that wired differently is not only a movement, but a mission, a mindset, and a ministry. And I want you to lastly, but not most leastly, understand that you are a succession heir. And you need to start thinking like a succession heir. And I think you need to start understanding what you want, create a plan, and execute it. And you'll aspire to be a succession heir. Well, that's what I have for you guys today. I think I ran a little long. I hope Brent has me back, or she continues to help me move my process and products through this country over the next 3 to 4 months. I'm super excited about all that. And I'm hopeful that you guys go to toddsaylor.com, click free book, and then go through the click funnel. It's going to be about $14, but in the bottom, at the bottom where it says comments or someplace to put comments, put BTBY there. And I'm going to send you my first book and I'm going to send you a workbook. So we got a lot of value there. And I'm going to have you and your email address, and I can keep in touch with you. And hopefully you can click on and subscribe to YouTube, Todd Saylor YouTube, and even get on my Facebook, Todd Saylor Wired Differently. Well, Anthony, are you there?
Yeah, of course. You know, you said get. You said get. You almost sounded like you said get out of my face. Book. It was, you know, there was a little play on words. I thought you were talking trash. I was like, all right, you want to bring it? You want to go? You want to go?
No, for some reason, I'm not too concerned. But listen, mustache, I understand exactly what you're trying to make up for there, friend. We're good. So I'm over here with Mr. Gillette. Come on, brother. And he's even got glasses. Anthony, I got to go with Terrence.
Yeah, and we're both in Florida. You're just up the way from me. I just passed by you.
Anthony's got the sexy on. Wait, I got to go one hat above you. You ready?
Are you ready? Let's see what we got.
Oh, Lord.
Hats off.
Here we go.
Okay. I'm going to travel through time with you, my friend. I see.
You are officially wired differently. That
Listen, she says I'm wired differently too. Right?
Okay.
How many props does he have? There's gonna be like rubber chickens.
I'm afraid to see what he's gonna pull out next.
Let me see. I got all kinds of whoop. Oh
no. Does she have her own wired differently shirt too?
Bren is loaded for bear, baby. You guys want some shirts? You just let me know. You did a good job today.
You did an excellent job. Let's give it up for Todd Saylor doing the damn thing. I just can't keep it I can't keep it clean. That was just some phenomenal stuff. You know, just going through the 5 touch points.
I gotta put mine on now too.
Talking
Okay.
about wired differently. There was this thing about people that talked about the crazy ones. There was a whole poem about here's to the crazy ones, because they, even though they may be crazy, and even because they may do things differently, they are the ones that change the world. And sometimes in order to change the world, you've got to do things differently. You've got to be disruptive, and that's what I see in you, Todd. I see a disruptive force for change. And you know, to take Anthony's phrase, you will have some blunt conversations, I can see, on helping us think differently, do things differently, and ultimately be a different nation, a different world as a result of that. So
Wired Differently America, baby. Anthony, I know we're equally yoked in this aggressive model.
I think so.
Yeah. I'm eager to meet you guys now. I got to apologize publicly to Bren. So this is how sweet Bren is. I was supposed to be there in St. Louis, and I guess we should just talk about it right now, Bren.
Yeah, go for it. They're gonna see you. You're gonna see you in February, anyways.
Okay, so I get to come. So, anyways, I had to cancel in October because of this tour we're doing with Salem Media, and Bren was so gracious, you know, and so I really appreciate the love and the support you guys are giving me, and we're gonna do this tour with you, Bren, and you're with this BTBY group, and we're gonna kick some ass and take some names. I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
That's okay. And you just met the other half of the team right here. So
I am looking forward to working with you. I'm looking forward to crossing wires and see how, even though we're wired differently, we can work together to create a charge.
I just don't know what happened in that relationship point. I just about blew the whole stinking speech, man.
you know what, Todd? It proves you are real.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can be wired differently and still be real. And that just means you're passionate about what it is you're talking about. And the passion could be seen from the beginning all the way through the end. And that's how we know that this movement, this mindset, this mission, and this ministry is definitely going to make a difference, because they've got the massive man himself, Todd Saylor, at the helm.
Well, can I count on you guys? Can I count on you guys?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for this awesome privilege to be on your channel and do these things. Anything else I can do for you, Bren, call me up. I can't wait to meet you, Anthony and Terrence. You know, am I ready to sign off? What do you want to do with me?
You know what? We want to just
for what you asked for.
Make sure Make sure that you go over to toddsaylor.com, get that special gift package. And Brenda's even making it easier for you, because if you put in the comments right now, just BTBY, we're going to get your information and we're going to take care of it for you to make sure you get this special
And Todd's
package.
going to get that information so he can connect with you.
Yep, and I got stickers for you. I got all kinds of fun. We're going to spoil you guys with this package when it gets there.
Yes, yes. Any final thoughts from sparring partner Anthony?
Oh no, we're good. I'll see him in person. And I'll take him down. I'll take him down to Chinatown. I got this.
All right, guys, don't make me get the mama voice out.
Oh, okay, Mama.
What? Now he wants to fight me, Bren. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we do a pay-per-view and we box in front of the whole world, and then whatever money is raised goes to the BTBY movement.
I actually love boxing, so I'm down.
All right. So we've gone from Friday, Saturday into a Sunday with the comedy show and the boxing match. This is going to be a.
I would never lay a hand on my man Anthony. He is too precious.
Or we could actually do the comedy show while boxing. We could be mic'd up all at the
That's
same
absolutely, because it will be a comedy.
I'll have to work on some of my stuff.
Todd, you've got comments. Yes, you are a disruptive force from change. That comes from one of our great speakers, Isabel Luz Camacho Black. She's advocating no boxing either. We'll see. You know, we do things different. Heather David, I believe that's your Heather, said Succession Air.
Heather, yeah.
Yes.
She's remarkable. Unbelievable.
Yes,
I've worked with her for 15 years and MBA. She's a race car driver, a beauty queen. And she runs 14 companies. Amazing. Hi, Heather. Thanks for watching the message. You're remarkable.
Well, we thank you. We're going to give you the opportunity to give us any closing remarks before we let you go.
Yeah. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior.
I dig it.
That says it all.
Later, brother.
Amen.
This is Todd Saylor. Give it up again for Todd Saylor on the Becoming the Best You virtual conference.